So a few days ago, I finally launched my very first SaaS application after being a developer for more than 6 years. So it's basically a web application about clean coding. You give your code to the website and then it gives you back a lot of suggestions about your code, how you can make it improve, and also it gives you a score to show how good your code is. In this video, I want to talk about how I found this idea and what was my thought process. A lot of people say that the idea is not really important, and having the idea doesn't guarantee the success of your SaaS application. Well, to some extent, this is true, but having a bad idea definitely will fail you, even if you're good at execution. Ideas are only 1 or 2% of the whole job, but when you start a SaaS project, especially as a solo developer, it's everything at that point. It can make you motivated or disappointed. If the idea is clear and is small enough, it makes it easier for you to execute it on your own. If you have a big idea with a big dream, well, you need a really big plan for that. I don't want to talk about how you can find a good idea in this video because it's a really complicated topic, but rather simply I want to share my journey with you, and hopefully there you can find some lessons about how you find your own. I started working for companies as a web developer right after my master's studies around 7 years ago. Since then, I've been doing web development here and there. I've always had the dream to start my own business, to launch my own SaaS product. When you always keep thinking about building your SaaS application or product, a lot of ideas come to your mind all the time. But I didn't have either the time or the courage to execute those ideas until a few months ago. You know, immigrating to a new country with your wife, finding a job, making sure that you have still resident permit to stay in the country, responsibilities as a husband, and providing for your family, all these things keep pushing you back. The fact is that the situation is not gonna be stable enough ever. The ideal moment we are all waiting for to do something, to do what we want to do, will never come. That's a fact. But we can wait for a better moment, and the definition for everybody is completely different. For me, I just wanted to make sure that I have a job to do. I have the resident permit to stay at this great country. Also, I can take care of my family. I can say that I had this stability for over the past few years, but there was still a problem. Idea. I couldn't choose the right idea. I had a lot of ideas in my mind, but I've been always waiting for the right idea to do. Eventually, a few months ago, I finally decided to do something, and I thought that I found my idea. Well, I wanted to create a social network for YouTubers, basically. So all the YouTubers gather together in that website, and then they try to communicate with each other and try to collaborate to promote their channels. After sketching some wireframes and also designing the whole application in Figma, I came to this conclusion that this is not really a good idea because it was a social-based idea, and social-based ideas are not really good for me to start with. Because I'm a solo developer, I have a full-time job to do, and I need a lot of time to do that. For social-based applications, basically, you need a lot of users to make it work. It wouldn't be enough if tens or hundreds of people come to your website. For instance, in my case, with the idea I had for YouTube. So basically, first of all, I needed a lot of people to come to my website and create some advertisements, create some posts saying that we have this channel. And also, on the other hand, I needed a lot of people to come to my website and try to find the right channel from the listed channels. And then they start to collaborate with those channels. So practically, I need hundreds of users to make it work, if not thousands of users. As a solo developer with a limited time and money, and also with a full-time job to do, it's not really easy for me to handle. So I got discouraged and stopped working on that. I needed an idea that could work even if there is only one user. So even if there is one user coming to my website, they will be able to get the response they want from my application. So here the idea of having SaaS comes into play. Software as a services are usually some applications that do something for individuals. It's like a software on your desktop, but online, available through browsers. In most cases, it's not social-based platform. The next idea I started to think about as a SaaS was a tool to estimate how good a CV is for a job position. Let me tell you about this a little bit, how this idea came to my mind. For many years, I've been always busy with writing CVs for different job applications and different job positions, and even PhD positions. But still, after years of practicing, it's really difficult for me to say if this CV is good enough for this job. and what should I change to make it better? So I came with this idea. Again, I started developing the application. I built the main functionality, added the user authentication, as well as the payment system. But along the way, again, I got discouraged by the idea. I wasn't completely happy with that. The problem was that a SaaS like this will be useful for people for a short period of time. When they use my SaaS to find the right job and make their CV better, when they find the job they want, they don't need my SaaS anymore. So they stop using that. I needed a SaaS that people use it over and over and hopefully every day. Now let me talk about the latest idea that actually I built it. As a developer, a big responsibility you have is reviewing other developers' code in the company. A few weeks ago, as I was reviewing a senior's developer code, but the code was pretty much good and it was pretty much perfect. And I used a couple of linter tools to find the errors and problems with the code, but there were none. But I knew that something is wrong with the code and there are some bad practices there. So I started reading some articles and also I started reading some books about clean coding, and I realized that there are some problems with the code, with naming variables, with the structure, with a lot of things that usually normal linters and normal tools can't find those issues because there are no errors, but rather there are some bad practices. So the idea came to my mind that it would be great if I could build a tool to help developers to find the issues with their code based on best practices and clean coding practices. Also, it would be great if this tool gives them a total score about how good their code is. Some people would say that we have some specific linters in every programming language, but the problem is that linters are really limited. With the help of AI and understanding the code, we can go beyond. For instance, for naming variables, linters are not really good. Also, there wasn't a general purpose code checker online. This SaaS idea is not social based. It doesn't matter if I have 10 or 10,000 users, because it would be beneficial to everybody individually. Also, if you are a developer and if you like the tool, there is a high chance that you use it every day. Now the only thing left for me to decide about is how I can make money from this SaaS. But that's it for this video. Please check my new SaaS. It's codemizer.com and give me your feedback about it. Thank you. See you soon.